Hi everyone, welcome to those of you that are joining us right now, and hello to those of you that got on the live feed a little bit early. If you have not been on one of our live feeds before, we do these every once in a while. I announce it on YouTube or on Facebook, and we will do a live and kind of chat with you about how things are going. I have stolen my puppy here for a minute. Chewy's oblivious to what's going on. Dogs never look in the mirror and they never look at a camera. Isn't that true? Okay, well, we're gonna let Chewy have a little seat here. Let him get comfy next to me. And I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about how the auction went, what's been going on, and fill you in on all good things that are Curiosity Inc. So Melissa will probably be joining us in a little bit. The reason I'm upstairs in my upstairs living room is that she is downstairs making, what is it, green tomato relish? She can't hear me. It's so noisy downstairs she can't even hear me. She's making, I believe, green tomato relish. It's a family recipe of her mom's. Her mom went out of town because her sister had babies, and Melissa's mom Marlene went to go look after her sister and those babies. So Melissa is making her mom's recipe in her absence, and you have me, and hopefully soon Melissa too. All right, so here's what's going on. We did the biggest auction we've ever done in the past week or so. We worked at it for a month or so. I've been buying all year long, and we did a really big auction sale. So had no idea what the expectation was. My goal was to try and do over $80,000. We did $86,000 in sales. Now, after you take the auction fees and deductions, it's closer to probably 70,000 Canadian. Still not bad. You know, on any other day, you'd go, wow, I'm rich. But I have to reinvest that money in other things. We're trying to put a building up. So it means that all that money basically just gets dumped into something else. But now at least we can look at progressing. We are thrilled with the results of the auction. Some things went low, some things went high. You know, a lot of folks were saying the Picasso pot went for 26,000 Canadian, and then they take auction fees off of that. So it's about what I expected. Even if you send it to a Sotheby's or a Christie's or something like that, they take about 50%. So at the end of the day, I probably got about what I would have got either way. Somebody got a good deal. There's a lot of meat left on the bone there for the future buyer. But all in all, we did really well. So we are, you know, very, very close to having all the funds we need to put that building up. The next step we have to do is the foundation. The auction hopefully will pay me on Friday. I haven't been paid yet. Yeah, things are going well. Somebody said, I see somebody said on the thing, you've got to stop hoarding. I didn't know that I was a hoarder. I don't feel like I'm a hoarder. In fact, I just went through all day yesterday and today, went through my garage, minimalizing everything down to the bare bones. I have a business. A lot of people say, Alex, you're a hoarder, because they always just see me buying stuff. But the goal of buying is because I sell. Today was a big day. I bought a whole carload of stuff and sold it so quickly that I didn't even have a chance to do a video of most of it. Had a whole pile of wristwatches that I got. 70 wristwatches came and went today. You know, Omegas and Rolexes and so forth, but they're gone. They already found a new home, which is fine. That's what we're supposed to do. But I wanted to show you a couple things. I might do a video tomorrow and show you just how much cool stuff came in the last couple days. But here's a couple neat things. One, maybe any ideas what that is? Anybody watching? I'm holding it upside down. I don't know if you can see the detail. See how it has this sort of tortoiseshell shape and it's got that C shape cut out of it? Any idea what that's for? I'll give you a second to try and guess, and then I'll see if I can tell you. No, not a bottle opener, not a razor. Okay, I'm gonna hold it up so you can see. It is for holding your glasses. So if you're, I guess, you know, if you have opera glasses and it has an arm on it, you can hold them up like so and look through them. These are obviously not opera glasses. I'm just showing you basically how that goes. It clips onto the arm, you kind of twist it into place, and it holds it in. So kind of a neat thing. Not something that you see too often. This is quite an early piece. This is well over 100 years old, so it's meant for some very early style opera glasses. but it's gold. Thought that was pretty cool. Found that the other day. And the thing that I was showing you too, that's kind of neat. These are original Ray-Ban sunglasses. These are the USA made Ray-Bans. These are probably date to the 1950s or 60s or so. You know, when you get the ones that are made in USA, they're pretty darn cool. Found those today. Got these the other day. I'm going to show you a little box first. We're doing show and tell, I guess, right now. That's what we're doing. Any idea what those are? Can you guys see that okay? They're little tiny silver bowls, and there's little tiny silver spoons. So what would you do with that? Let's see. Susan's on the right. Yep. Salt cellars. Yep. So this is for salt. So you put these, if you had we're doing a fancy meal, you'd have these on your table and you put those out and you just take a little pinch of salt ever so delicately. What's neat about it though, I don't know if it's reversing the image right now. I don't know if it's reversing that or not, if you can read that. But it says, with compliments, the Baroness Helene Gingold. Best wishes for your happiness from Regent's Court. So this was gifted from a Baroness. You guys see that? Baroness Helene Gingold was also an actress right around the turn of the century, right around 1900 or so as well. So she was a Baroness, she was an actress, stage, theater, early screen. So really, really cool. Anyway, you don't get something, look, so a Baroness had this at one time and now it's sitting in my house. Anyway, it's really cool. Silver toned at least anyway. Woo! Really, really light, yeah. Oh no, it's silver. It's stamped silver. Somebody said it's not silver. Yes, it is silver, it's stamped. So there you go. Anyway, pretty cool. So that's a really cool piece. And as if I needed more cameras. Oh look, hey everyone. Melissa is appearing.
Hello everyone.
You got it under control downstairs?
Nope.
Do you have a sample of what you're making to bring up?
I can in a minute.
Okay.
I'm making green tomato relish, but I've never made it before, so that should be interesting.
I was doing show and tell with some of the stuff that...
oh, good.
Yeah.
I didn't even see this stuff.
Okay, so I bought more cameras today. I don't know how many more I bought, maybe 40 more cameras, because I don't know why. I just did.
You love cameras?
Anyway, but I was going through the cameras and this was in there. So this is a medium format camera. You can still get film for these, but this is a particularly good brand. Can you guys see what brand it is from out there? I feel like Mr. Rogers right now. Does anybody have an idea of maybe you like to go and take photographs? Have you ever taken a picture of maybe a kitty walking by or a little lamb? Well, you could take that picture with this. It's a Rolleiflex. No, it's not a Brownie. Rolleiflex is probably one of the higher end brand names of camera you can get. So this particular model, if I flip it up, you have to flip up the lens and you twist and turn. And you can see the model name there. It's a Synchro Compor. So this would date probably to the 1940s or 50s, somewhere around there. They made them the same from pre-war to post-war. Really good camera though. There was not one but two Rolleiflexes. There was a lot of neat stuff in there. But this is how you see it. It's kind of like when you had your own, you know, the old Brownie cameras, you look through the top. I'm gonna take that off so you can kind of see. See, your image would appear right there. See? There's the viewfinder, there's your image. People actually use these still to this day, and you can get film for them. But Rolleiflex, very collectible camera. So found one of these today in the basement of a gentleman's house. So yeah, it was a cool day. But I'm most excited because I got something for myself. I got something for me, and I don't usually get something for me. You guys know, you probably know that I collect like little corgi and dinky toys, but they're generally movie or TV themed. I also collect Schuco wind-up cars, and this was one I didn't have. You like how that just appeared out of nowhere? Boop! So it's German made, but it's a Buick. You take the hood ornament. See the hood ornament on the roof there? You take the hood ornament to turn the wheels. So that's how you set if it's doing a circle or if it's going straight ahead. This would have a little cord that would attach to it right on the top. And it ran off a battery, so it's actually a really early remote control car. So it's really, really neat. Really great shape too. Guess it helps if I show you it the right way. So I collect this sort of stuff. That's a pretty neat piece. That's going in my showcase with my other Schuco cars, but look at the condition. It's like a showroom condition little toy car. I'm happy about that. This, of all the things that make me happy, this is one of those things that makes me happy because it's tin and it's cool and it's gadgety. It has working headlights and taillights if you hook power up to it. So I didn't get the remote for it. It's not die-cast, Dave. It's actually tin plate. He said nice die-cast. It's a tin car. But I have a nice little collection of these guys going right now. So that's going to go into the shelf with the others. So fun day of finding odds and sods. I'm going out somewhere again tomorrow morning too. I have a pick at 9 in the morning. Going to a lady's house.
I'll be already teaching by then.
Yeah, and then I have to go to work and put all the stuff away that I picked up the other day. So I'll probably try and do a little video showing you guys some of the things that came in over the past few days. Been really, really busy, but I have to be careful not to spend too much money because this will defeat the whole purpose of me selling all this stuff in the first place. There's that ebb and flow. You have to spend, but you have to make as well. And lately it's just been, you know, we need to focus a lot on selling. So let's see. The weather's beautiful here right now. Somebody asked, David asked, how's the weather there, Alex? It's like summer outside. It's gorgeous out. In fact,
well, not like I wouldn't have worn shorts today, but
the kids did.
Yeah.
Melissa wears a winter coat when it's warm. The kids wearing shorts and t-shirts and they're skateboarding around, so
yeah,
it's beautiful.
True. Yeah.
Okay. Did the comics get there? If you know, so was that Julie that asked a question? Jerry or Jerry, you're gonna have to help me with how to pronounce your name. Jerre. Asked, did the comics arrive in New York? Not yet. For those of you that watched, I bought a big giant comic collection and a big giant movie poster collection a couple weeks ago. We shipped them off to Comic Connect in New York, assuming that they get there in okay shape and assuming that you know, everything is as we described. We should have a sale there. And that'll be, you know, a good injection of funds back into the old bank account too. So all of this work, the past year or so of us buying like crazy and selling, we're finally getting to a spot where it's coming back around, and we're very grateful for all that.
They have a tracking number. They'll have a tracking number.
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Like I said, they're not lost.
And
they
it's
just
insured.
Take a while because it has to get over the border.
It does have to get over the border. I can only imagine what the custom agent's going to say when they're like, what's on the skid? And they're like, you know, a giant pallet full of comic books. They've probably seen weirder stuff, but the nice thing is most of them were printed in the US of A, so they're just going back home. So there shouldn't be any kind of duty
Jenny
or anything.
said she got the Campbell Soup doll after all.
Oh, did you? Oh, thanks. Congratulations for winning the Campbell Soup doll. I'm glad. Let's see. The comic books were insured. Let's see. Ethel is saying that it's buffering. I don't think it's buffering for anybody else though. I'm not seeing it buffering at all for us.
That's just their faces.
Yeah,
Maybe
I just haven't moved around enough for you to know that it's not buffering. But anyway, I think we're all good here. So what a busy couple weeks, you know. I can't believe that we made it all come together so far, but we have so much more to do. We still have to put up a whole building at some point. And honestly, guys, I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to get the building up before winter because we're so delayed with having to. Funky Aardvark sent us £5 Thank you. What did I miss in the first minute? We were just talking about the auction results. I'll go back to that for anybody that missed it. The problem is the city asked us to redesign one of the walls on the building after we'd already submitted our plans. They wanted the wall that's facing our neighbors to, we originally had it designed with double drywall and, are you going downstairs?
I have to go take out one of the, I'm canning at the very same time, but I'm using pots because I don't have a canning pot.
Yeah, I heard the timer go. So Melissa's gonna come back up and, anyway, what they want me to do is use steel stud instead of lumber on that wall so it's fireproof. I get it, they want me to be safe and everything, that's fine, but it's a little frustrating. They've had the plans for, I don't know, 8 months and decided to say something now after we're starting to break ground. So we're going to hopefully get everything all together and fixed before long. I swear the amount of challenges I've had with City Hall, I'm half tempted to run for mayor next year when that actually happens and try and straighten things up. It's been quite the quite the challenge dealing with the city on that. I can only imagine what it's like for other people who are trying to do things around our city. But that said, hopefully we'll have a building going up before too long. But I just don't know if we'll be able to get the foundation and the framing done before winter. So we'll see. We shall see. All right, so I'm just gonna try to read some of the comments here. We've got folks on from Australia. Where are you guys from? Why don't you shout out where you're from, and I'll read it out and see. Pat says, how much did the Catholic missile sell for? I think it was over $600 is what the Catholic missile sold for. It was listed as being a hymn book. It was actually a Milanese missal or book of masses in Latin. Barbara says, a small amount for the new building. Oh, thank you, Barbara. We've got Tennessee, Michigan, Toronto, Ohio. Another person, Tennessee, Nova Scotia, and Iowa. We had somebody on from Australia earlier too. Let's see, Western Australia, they go Perth, okay. Hamilton, New Zealand, Guelph, Ohio. What time is it in New Zealand and Australia right now? It's got to be like first thing in the next morning, I would think now. You guys always get, on the countdowns, we always see you guys celebrating the New Year's before us. So we were waiting for Y2K to hit. We wanted to see if the world was going to end in Australia first. It didn't. Quebec, Denver. You know, it's funny. So for the person in Quebec, I was listening. There's a comedian named Derek Sagan who's pretty funny, and he's from Quebec. And he was talking about whether Canada's national dish should be poutine, or poutine, I should say. That was the one thing they were joking, is that it's not pronounced poutine, it's pronounced poutine. So I don't want to say it wrong. Which, if you guys don't know, it's a Canadian thing. It's a French-Canadian thing specifically. My friend in Quebec will tell us. Sorry, there was a super chat I got to say. Cal Wildman says, what's the weirdest thing you've ever brought? I imagine you say bought. Human skull that was from Borneo headhunting tribe. I got it from a guy in New York, and it's two like New Guinea skulls that are all carved and everything. I actually still have it at the store. I don't even have a sign. I should put a sign up so people know what it is. It's kind of creepy. I don't usually buy that kind of stuff, but that's one of the weirdest things that I've done. So we were talking poutine. Wow, what a great segue. Let's talk about human heads and cheese. Woo! Well, I hope nobody's eating breakfast, lunch, or supper right now because you're about to vomit profusely everywhere. I apologize. Okay, weird thing about carved human skull. Kind of creepy. Not really sure I'll ever buy anything like that again. We're talking cheese though. I'm the worst at it. Who's letting me facilitate? Where's my wife to keep me on track? Every time she's not here, I get off track and say stupid things. I just say stupid stuff all the time anyway. But they're saying, should poutine be the national food of Canada? What is it now? Canadian bacon? You know, what is our national food, Melissa, in Canada? We have like maple syrup. We have like bacon, Canadian bacon, which is essentially just like slices of ham. But imagine cheese, kind of French fries, and then cheese curds. It's got to be really squeaky cheese curds, and then hot brown gravy on top. Delicious. But he was saying that he was in Calgary. He said, I saw someone in Calgary eating poutine, and they put ketchup on it. And he said, I'm gonna punch him in the face, because they're very proud in Quebec about how poutine is their national dish, not Canada's national dish. And that we shouldn't be trying to make it all of Canada. They said, let them have that. So Quebec just wants that. Yeah, it's funny, because Quebec and that part of Canada, let's see. Oh, somebody's saying, don't get into politics, you're too positive. I feel like being the mayor of a city is more of being a civil servant than being more or less a politician. You're trying to get stuff done, but you're not playing the political card so much. But still, it'd be challenging, because Melissa said I shouldn't do it, because then you'd have a whole bunch of people who just get mad at you all the time. Like, the road in front of my house didn't get paved last weekend, and I hate your guts. But I always think that there's probably a lot of good a person could do too, and it probably wouldn't hurt to have somebody who's a business person as a mayor that's actually in there who, I don't know. Sometimes the decisions and the way things happen at City Hall just drive me crazy. But I have a store to run, so that's probably a crazy thought. Oh, look, the wife's back.
You can see me running up the stairs.
Melissa doesn't want me to run for mayor anyway.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, it's warm. All
But
that over the phone.
she doesn't want me to run for mayor, not because I wouldn't be a good mayor. She doesn't want me to run for mayor because people would probably be negative. We wouldn't see the kids as often. But more than that, you think I'd actually win.
Yeah.
She's like, you probably shouldn't run for mayor, and it's not because she's like, well, he's never going to get in. She's worried I might actually win. Here, why don't you scooch over? Then you can see. There we go.
I have 8 minutes before the next lot.
You didn't bring one up to show them.
Oh, I will.
You got to go get one. You got to go see what she's working on.
That's not, the worst part is that they're little jars.
I went to somebody's house today and I bought 70 wristwatches. Boy, were they nice. Omega Speedmasters and Rolex Datejusts, and I mean, I'm talking 70 of them. But I have a friend who's a watch dealer in British Columbia, and sometimes you have to take a lower profit point to move them along, and I don't want to be sitting on that stuff forever. So there we go.
You can't even tell because it's in a. Here, so for some reason, I'm not sure why, but in Edmonton, all our jars are sold out.
I think it's almost everywhere. It's really hard to find canning jars right now.
So I found tiny itty bitty 125 mils, and I jumped on that like you wouldn't believe. But man, it is taking so long.
But that's a good size because you could have that at dinner, and that would be like you're serving for a family.
I haven't processed this one yet, so yeah, a serving. Are you gonna have a whole serving of relish?
I meant for a whole family.
Yeah. I think it'll make good little gifts, hopefully, if they taste good, so.
Yeah. So, yes, Melissa is back. Let's see.
Sorry, that's actually very distracting, me running back and forth.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's all good. That's life. They want the recipe for it. I don't know. I think it's a family recipe.
I filmed it, for sure I did. The struggle was very real. So, yeah, it's in the process of being filmed.
Yeah.
So, with the rest of my videos, eventually will go up, hopefully in the next couple of days.
So they were saying that because of COVID, more people than ever have been gardening. And as a result, people grew a lot more than they expected, so they're canning. And because you can't find canning jars or like quart sealer jars and stuff right now, people are then putting them in freezers. And I heard that now the freezer industry is backlogged until next year because of freezer sales. So there's a lot of people who, they made all this stuff in their yard this summer, and they're like, well, we have to can it, and then they can't get canned. So like, well, I guess we'll have to freeze it. Now they can't get freezers. So I guess a lot of people are going to be eating a crazy amount of fresh vegetables for a little while if they can't figure things out.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know what to do. I should have grabbed more. My mom is... she went to Ontario for the next couple of months, and she asked me to take care of all the beets in her garden. So
yeah, maybe you can probably get some on Amazon and stuff. We usually keep canning jars in our basement just for that. We made our tree out front is a little cherry tree, choke cherries, and the last couple years, the first I don't know how many years we lived here, over 15 years. Melissa was convinced that tree was poisonous. And I'm like, I remember buying it, and the lady said you could eat the fruit. And she's like, no, don't eat it. And she'd like smack them out of the kids' hands. And they go to grab one, and she'd be like, don't eat it. So anyway, I looked it up, and I'm like, it's not poisonous. It's fine. And she's like, well, you're decent. And so I ate one, and I'm like, look, I didn't die.
They were gross, though. Like right off the tree before you process it, make it into jelly, it like shrivels your tongue up.
Well, we learned a couple things. One, they're a little bit bitter. But if you let them go right to the end of the season, right until fall, they actually get quite sweet. And we've been making jam the last couple of years, the last 3 years, I think we've been making jam off the berries from that tree. And it makes enough to last us a whole year and give some away as gifts. So I've said it before, I love having trees and gardens and stuff that actually produce food. We have apple trees, we've got cherry trees. I planted, what's in the backyard of the store? I think a plum tree and a pear tree? Anyway, I planted fruit trees. A partridge, no, there's no partridge. There might be a partridge family. Would the partridge family, if they built a tree house, build it in a pear tree? Maybe. I don't know.
We saw a prairie chicken the other day. That's also going to be in the vlog.
You need to get your vlog out.
I know.
Yeah.
I had to get the the relish done because I didn't want, my mom gave me all the ingredients because she found out very last minute that she was going. So I didn't want to waste all of that produce that she was nice enough to give us. So
I probably shouldn't call it jam because it's actually a jelly. We made choke cherry jelly, so it's very clear, and we added pectin and boiled, so it's actually really, really good. If you have jam, you leave more of the pulp, and we strained it. We did the what is it, that bag that we put it in?
Cheesecloth.
Cheesecloth. Thank you.
Except for cheesecloth was all completely sold out as well. So when we had to do the jam, I had extra laundry bags, like lingerie bags.
She was talking about using like a pair of nylons or something.
I use nylons, works amazingly well.
Do you imagine you're gonna go rob a bank that night and you go to put on the nylons that you had, and it's like your wife had been like straining juice or something, like jam? And they're like, give me all your money, and it looks like you're oozing jam out of the bag.
Why only for bank
I don't know. That's what people do in the movies. They put the nylon over their face and it distorts it all funny. But if it had been freshly used for making preserves, it's the only one I've got. Yeah. Let's see. Spooky LaRue says, thanks for covering the auction. Really enjoyed it. Well, thanks. Maybe I'll recap what happened with the auction because some of you are just joining us right now and probably didn't catch it. Total auction sale was approximately $86,000. That's like winning the lottery. Actually, here's a fun fact. I don't play the lottery. I don't buy scratch tickets. I don't play the lottery. I feel like my money is better spent if I can invest in things that I know and I can control where my income is coming and going. So I never play the lottery. But that is a windfall either way, but it's an earned windfall because I had to go out. I had to go out and buy that stuff with some sort of education of antiques and try and buy stuff that I thought that there'd be some room on. And I had to work hard. With all of Mary's pottery that we put up, I had to literally dig for months to find that stuff. So that is, man, it's all going well. So after the auction takes their fees, we'll probably see maybe just around $70,000 or so, which will take a big dent out of the construction costs. So boy, am I glad to know that we are going to be set and ready to put up the building. As long as the weather and the city correspond, we should be okay there. That I was hoping to bring home $80,000. We brought home 70. But still, I considered that we made our goal because it did 86 total. I was hoping to make 80. At the end of the day, it was 70. That's fine. 80 is about the number I needed to put up the building, but that's fine. Out of the $70,000 that we will have made from the auction, Sam Buffington's asking, I probably had invested maybe 40, so that's still $30,000 profit in one day. That's pretty good. You know, that there's been many times in my life where that was like my whole year's salary when I was a kid, you know, or even later on, that was like everything. So that's 30 grand profit in one day. That said, of course, the auction house called me up and they said, you know, we kind of want to do another antique sale in November. Can you do another sale? I'm like, well, I don't know if I'll be able to find another Picasso to put up, but yes, I can do another antique sale. So November, December, we'll probably try and do another auction and sell a bunch of stuff. Because it seems like lately the leads have just been pouring in. I keep getting call after call to go to people's houses and find cool lifetime collections of stuff. So, you know, today was gangbusters, guys. I probably should have done a video, but I've already bought and sold everything. But your eyes would have popped out of your head if you saw the stuff that I found today. I will show you some of the things when I get back to the store in terms of the cameras and some of the other collectibles. But boy, it's been a busy, busy week, that's for sure.
I apologize. I heard the timer again.
Okay, Melissa's going to run off again.
This is my hectic reality.
She's downstairs actually canning and doing stuff. She's busy. Comic book update. They're on their way to New York. They haven't arrived yet. So I'll have more of an update once they get them. If they get them and they like them, then they're sold. And then we'll be doing a collaboration with the people at Metropolis or Comic Connect. We'll do a video and probably a chat with the guys there. I'll introduce you to one of the owners of that company, and you know, if all goes well, that's what's going to happen. Otherwise, I guess if they don't want to buy them, which is what we're hoping that they'll purchase them, then we run through an auction through their site because they're right in the thick of selling comics. They should arrive in New York City probably within about 4 or 5 days. Yeah, Chewy's here hanging out. You guys see him? He's just, look, he's oblivious. He hears me talking. This is what he does. He just comes and he hangs out with us and he's just a very good pupper. So he looks tired. He's been busy chasing. He likes to bark at the trees in our backyard and scare all the birds off. Like every, I'd say, hour or 2 hours, he feels the need to go outside, scare all the other living things out of our yard, and then he feels like he walks like he's proud. You know, when dogs do that, I'm a tough dog. He does a little prance like, look what I did. But we did have the neighbor's cat before. It hopped up on the top of the fence. It had just sat there. You know, when cats are like really casual and they don't care that a dog is threatening them at all. So it was like, oh, a dog, and it got out of our yard, and then it saw that the dog couldn't get it. So then it was like, oh, I'm just gonna give myself a little bath right now, and it's like up there all stretched out, and Chewy's losing his mind, like, are you kidding me? Get off of my fence. And the cat's like, oh, what are you gonna do about it? Nothing. Anyway, so Chewy had a rough day that day. But let's see. Sarge and Red's Vintage Toys says, you guys have been an inspiration to watch. I'm rehabbing an old novelty shop to open my vintage toy shop. I definitely look forward to new episodes. Well, Sarge, all the best of luck to you. You know, if I can give any kind of business advice to anybody who's thinking about doing this down the road, leasing can be a dangerous proposition. If you have the ability to buy your own building, always buy your own building. Be your own landlord if you can, or do it from your home for a while until you get established. But signing a 5-year lease and not knowing what your sales are going to be like can get you into a lot of trouble. If you get a year into it and you're like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, they're going to charge you for the other 4 years that you're not in until they find a new tenant. So very, very nerve-wracking. We used to have a store at a shopping mall, a pretty major mall here in town. And that experience alone basically made it so that I didn't want to have another store in a shopping mall ever again. But, you know, to each their own. Sometimes, you know, buying a commercial building is pricey and it's cheaper to lease. But at the end of the day, you know, had I not been my own boss and had I not left my regular job and started to do what I really love to do, which is going out and finding antiques and collectibles, our life would have been predictable. You know, we would have had our like couple weeks vacation and done our things, but we have so much freedom now. I don't know where my days are going to take me, and yes, I do work hard, and I work pretty much nonstop, but it's fun for me. You know, my work today was digging around in somebody's basement and finding old toys and wristwatches and stuff. Like, those are the things that I lived for my days off before, and now I get to do it for work. So I feel very, very pleased with that. Oh, I see Heather is answering questions. So, all right, I'm going to answer some questions. What happened to the Woody Wagon, Victoria asked. The Woody Wagon, I still own it. It's at the shop. I'm waiting for them to do much needed repairs to the frame. It had a Camaro front clip. And for those of you that don't know, when they take a hot rod, look, I just happen to have this little car here, so talk about it. When they put a beefier engine in, they have to sometimes change the front end to make it so it handles better and so forth. So what they did with my car is they put a different rear end and they put a different front end. But to make the new front end work, they had to cut the old one off and weld the new one in. And the one they welded in was off of a Camaro. So not the same as a 1939 International. They wanted one off of a Camaro so that it handled better and felt a little sportier and so forth. When they welded it in, they didn't box it in properly. And that's a type of weld that you do on the frame where you actually have to put sheets in and box and weld so it's very sturdy. They didn't do that, so when it got to the shop and they wanted we had to do the inspection, they said, sorry, we can't pass this car because the frame wasn't welded up to code. So we're waiting for them to get an estimate from a professional welder to repair the frame on it. And once that's done, then it'll just be little finicky stuff like any old car would need, you know, the odd thing here and there. Like I think the windshield was cracked and I needed to change out my wolf whistle horn to an actual horn. So no longer will it go, it'll go auga, and that's called a klaxon horn. If you ever hear an auga like a Model T, it's called a klaxon horn.
Well, those are awesome.
Were you disappointed with the price of the green Land Rover? A little bit, yes. It went for under market, and I probably lost some money on that vehicle. But at the end of the day, here's the deal. When you auction off some stuff, you look at the overall price that you're getting for things. You don't look at the individual items. That's why a lot of times I don't even like to watch auctions. I just look at what the amount was at the very end. It gives you an idea of where the market's at. But, you know, the Land Rover, yeah, I could be bummed out that I lost a little bit of money on that, but I made money on other things. So it all balanced out. Let's see. Murdoch McNeil says, from Nova Scotia, Canada, my grandmother before mason jars were mainstream used recycled glass jars and sealed them with Permian wax melted and poured on top to air seal. I've heard of that before too.
Yeah, somebody was saying wax paper as well or something.
And if I'm missing your question, just ask again. I'll try and answer. Eileen says, did you sell your other store location? Not yet. No. If you know somebody in the Edmonton area who needs a little commercial space, come on down. We'd love for you to have it, not us. Our realtor is busy working away, showing the space and making phone calls. With any luck, that space will sell before long. And if you want your comment put to the top, you can do what some people do, and that's a super chat. Those ones basically flag different for me so I can see them. It's a big blast across my screen. The Catholic Missile went for, I think, around $600 or so. Let's see. I'm just...
Lobby card update?
Lobby cards are New York, yeah.
You can't boil recycled jars, they might explode.
How do you find people that let you hunt their houses? How do you get started sourcing antiques? That was the tricky part when we opened up our antique store, is that, you know, without having a lot of leads and without having an established name, I had a few places I could go and a few people I could go and chat with, but definitely not enough to fill a whole store. So in part, sometimes I would go to other antique stores or thrift stores and things and look for things that maybe they had priced incorrectly. Or in a couple of cases, I paid full price for something because it was really cool, and then my store would have it and they didn't, if that makes sense. So now you just transplant something, you're not going to make any money on it, but at least you have that. Once you basically get yourself established, the people phone you and they get they phone you and they say come over to our place, or they email you or what have you. So almost every single day I'm out doing stuff. Funky Aardvark sent me a super chat, so I've got to answer that. Doing this just to make it flag and say hello. Oh, okay, well, that's how you do it though. Funky Aardvark's question came right to the top. Okay, I'm just gonna try and read some more comics. Some comments. Somebody was asking about the comics again, but I've answered that a few times already. Let's see. If you see any that come up too.
Fireworks happening outside.
The people across the street are getting a new roof put on.
Oh, you know what? Initially, I thought it was my jars going badly because it's in a pot and I put stuff on the bottom to keep them off of the bottom, and I thought they could be exploding. So.
So 2 questions. One is, do people expect you to pay them retail? No. Sometimes, and I say I just can't do that. I had, for instance, I went to a lady's house and she had teacups, and I sell them for $7 for a cup and saucer. It's a fair price, $7 Canadian, that's like $5 US for a cup and saucer, but that's what they sell for. And they don't fly off the shelves at that price either, they just sell on occasion. So she said, okay, well, I'd like $7 each for them. I said, well, that's kind of not how it works. I said, I have to make some money. So typically I pay about 50%. So if something's going to sell for $10, I'll pay $5. And the challenge is then if I'm paying the $5, somebody at my store will offer, you know, 7 or 8. So you don't quite make 50% on some things. The only time you get a really good deal is if you buy in bulk. Like today I bought 70 high-end wristwatches. I did get a bulk deal there and there was some money to be made on that. Or when I buy an entire store out or an entire collection. So whenever I buy a whole bunch of stuff, that's when you get the best price and the best deal. And that's how I usually like to do it. So it drives me crazy about watching American Pickers or shows like that, is that they walk in and you'll see this giant hoard of stuff and the people say, well, I want to get rid of everything and it's all good. And then they just go, okay, well, I'll take that one thing off the shelf.
Well, who knows what you actually see and
well,
what they do.
The reason for that is a lot of those shows are actually, I hate to say it, but they're staged. I mean, it's entertainment, storage wars and things like that.
But we don't know for sure that those are exactly.
For the most part, it's entertainment. You're watching an entertainment show. But in reality, when you're doing this for a business, you want to go in and you want to get bulk deals. You want to get as much stuff as you can for the best price that you can. And so that's why when you guys see me going to somebody's place and buying like an entire truckload of stuff, or I had the whole garage full of stuff that they basically just gave me, I'm willing to take everything and deal with it. And do I keep it all? No. In fact, in our house, there's very few things that I've actually kept for us. The only thing in this living room, in fact, that I've brought home, we have a ship above our fireplace, and I've got that blue Spartan radio back there because I don't think I'll ever find another one like it. So we are, you know, always bringing stuff. Mind you, I kind of lied. That's coming home. That's coming home.
Choke cherry syrup on pancakes. That is a good idea because some of our syrup didn't completely thicken up.
Or our jelly didn't thicken that much.
Yeah, I meant but it is like syrup. Such a good idea.
It's funny. Somebody said, Alex, when are you going to be doing a television show? You know, I have a lot of people write me from production companies, and I'll tell you this. I'm going to give you guys the lowdown on how TV shows work.
Plus, this is our TV show. You're watching it.
Okay, but I'm going to tell them how this all works. TV is a lot different now than it was years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago, you would have maybe History, Discovery, or A&E, and you'd have the 3 top channels. Now it's saturated with satellite networks and other companies trying to put out shows. So lots of people have shows. It's not necessarily, there's a lot of stuff out there. Shows are people doing kind of what I'm doing. If they select somebody and they're doing it, there's shows like this out there. Maybe not people doing it to the extent that I do. I deal in kind of higher end things, and I deal in bulk, so it's not quite the same. So you're entering a market that's a little bit saturated already. The success rate, when you get approached by a television production company, only 2 to 3% of their pitches end up getting greenlit. So that means out of every 100 ideas that they pitch to a network, they're only taking maybe a couple of them, and that's considered successful, 2% success rate. So you can imagine if I've been approached 60 times, let's say, so far, which is about accurate. I've had about 60 different production companies write me. It's going to take another 40 more before somebody actually comes along and has a show that's able to be greenlit and is ready for me. That said, we're happy doing what we're doing and plugging away. Oh, Matthew Fox says hello. Matthew, you didn't need to send me $2 to say hi, but hello, Matthew. Matthew, you can put the link up for your channel and for your jewelry link if you like. Matthew is a former New York firefighter who was on scene at 9/11 and it now makes really cool jewelry. Are you wearing anything of his right now?
I don't wear any jewelry when I go.
Oh yeah,
class.
she's also making food right now. So
yeah,
she's
also
not wearing jewelry, but
when I teach, I make sure the only thing I'm wearing is my watch and my wedding rings. That's it.
You know,
I don't
it's
want to disinfect them.
Somebody's talking about how corporate TV ruins everything. And there's Stephen emerging from downstairs.
Oh, hi.
There's a Stephen.
Oh, hi.
I was watching, I don't know what show it was, and you look at the format, you look at what they're doing, and most of what they do is they talk. They open up a box, and they're like, I think this is an old car, and then some guy waddles in who has no business being in the business whatsoever, who's just there. He's like the Chumley kind of character from Pawn Stars, who's like, what's this guy even doing working here? He's like, I like toy cars, and then they talk about toy cars, and then they stare at each other for like 10 minutes of a 30-minute show. It's crazy. I was thinking it would be so easy just to draw out what you do on one of these shows. It would be very easy to do the laugh track and all that stuff and make yourself look like a network show. But I don't know. I guess I'm more point and shoot. Probably part of the problem is I'm not in front of the camera as much as I probably should be presenting because I'm often also the cameraman. The one nice thing about if we ever did have a show would be somebody else would be filming for me. But anyway. We don't know, there's nothing happening there right now. Currently, I will tell you this, there's 2 different production companies that are serious production companies that would like me to sign with them. But when you sign with a company, it means that you're tied up with them for 3 months while they try and pitch shows and pitch you to a company. So if it doesn't go ahead, you can't get a deal with any other sort of network. So it ties you up for a little while. So we're fine. We're doing what we're doing right now. And we're glad to be on YouTube and glad to be here. And more so glad that you guys watch and see what's going on. Incidentally, if a TV show ever did happen, we would stipulate we could still do YouTube, so we could still be here for you guys without you having to watch a production show. You guys know who we are and what we're really like. Sometimes I am glad to hear one thing. So when we first started doing the YouTube show a couple years ago, I had a production company call and they wanted to do a show, but they wanted conflict. They always, in reality TV shows, they want conflict. Like, I want to buy that. No, I want to buy it. Or, that person's no good at their job. Or, there's always some fake created conflict. And I told them, I said, I'm not really interested in that. I don't feel like I want to be going up against some other team and trash talking them. Because they were asking me to read lines that were way out of character. They said, okay, can you read this line? And it was something like, this guy's trash, his business is trash, and he's going down. Like, they wanted me to say stuff like that. And I said, you know what? I would never say anything like that. And so if you're asking me to act, that's one thing. But if you're saying I'm Alex of Curiosity Inc. in Edmonton and using my name and my company, there's no way I'm going to say that line. But if they're like, you're playing the part of Joe on a television show who's an antique dealer, then sure, I'll read your line if I'm acting. But when you're telling me to be me and feeding me lines that are unnatural.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. Because then it goes against who you are as a person.
It goes against my morals.
Yeah.
It goes against what we do and what we're about. But the last production company I talked to said, well, apparently the networks are kind of getting sick of that and they want more feel-good shows. And I'm like, well, it's about time. Where have you been this whole time? Boy, it sure takes a while for Hollywood to come around and actually do the right thing. Years of people just, picking on each other and just, it actually affects society. You watch too many of those reality shows where they're making people fight and argue. It affects how people then they turn off the show, but they carry that drama and the way that people act into their everyday lives, and it carries it forward.
Your body doesn't know that it's a show; it acts it as if it's real.
Yeah.
Nitrous Diecast said I could play the part of Diecast Dave.
Yes, Dave, you could play the part of Diecast Dave very well. So I don't know. We want to stay true to ourselves. You know, I would host a show. Like there's been people who have said, Alex, why don't you host a show? There's also people who want me to do something like a Properties Brothers sort of thing, but with hoarder houses. You know, which I would do. I mean, I've got experience with it. But the trick is trying to get, you know, your Hans and your Josh and these are people who are now an extended part of my family. And so I'm very passionate about getting everybody who's a part of my world involved in the things that I do. So we'll see.
Said we do have drama. We have real life drama. That's something everybody can relate to.
Boy, do we ever have real life drama between the city and things getting canceled. And yeah, we have actual drama, which makes it interesting. Arlene and Bill write us, and they say, I made my mom's 1950s green tomato relish recipe today too. My granddaughter found pint jars at Michael's craft store where she works. Oh,
that's smart.
Yeah, you wouldn't think of going to Michael's for...
I just went to the grocery store and I saw them on the end cap, so...
Yeah.
It took a long time. Hopefully it turns out well. I brought some upstairs because there was one that didn't go to be processed. So
hang on.
Like a taste test.
We have a super chat I got to answer. H. Campbell says, very curious on this question. Do you ever buy movie props? What is your favorite or rares you have owned or come across? I wouldn't say that I've really bought movie props per se. I used to work in the film industry. For about 9 or 10 years, I was a location manager and producer in the film industry. So if you go on Imdb, you're going to see a picture of Melissa and I when we're both young, and I have like the Justin Timberlake frosted spiky hair. You can ignore that for whatever reason. I can't update the picture.
You can't update the picture?
No, I think they want me to pay for an account to update the picture. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Like
anyway.
If you were back part of the guild.
Yeah, so at any rate, when I worked in the film industry, every time they make a movie and they buy things to use in a movie, they sell it at the set sale at the end of a show. And so you would find things for really good prices because they can't take it with them. The show is done. It's like a going out of business sale every 4 months after a show is done. You get to buy stuff for cheap. One set sale, they had, I think, like 3 1986 Corvettes that they sold for $2,000 a piece. I didn't buy them. But there's stuff like that that goes, you know, cars that are used in movies or, honestly, never buy a car that's been used in a movie. They get trashed. Camera mounts put on them, driven all over the place.
What if it was just like we've lent our car to the movies?
Yeah, we've lent our car. Actually, yeah, we used to have a car that was driven by John Ritter's character in Three's Company made-for-TV movie. And I was like, there goes my car. I think I appeared in that movie too. They did a movie about Three's Company, and I played one of the like background, I don't know, 1970s kind of, or 60s, yeah, a 70s sort of guy. They gave me this like disco shirt kind of thing to wear. Yeah, there are a few occasions where I've appeared on camera, but anyway, yeah. So let's answer a few more questions here.
You better run, Susie. She said, don't talk about anything important for 3 minutes. Bandana Grandma does a whole bunch of stuff on her channel all the time. She would for sure know how to can.
Okay, Brandon says, I used to be a PA on a few film sets, had to clean up actors' apartment. I was told to keep what you want after everything was wrapped. Well, that's not a bad thing. Yeah. I had a Shirley MacLaine once turned, I don't know if you know who she is. I probably told this story before. We were filming and the director wanted to use part of her house that we'd rented for her for a movie. And she was playing part of Mary Kay. This was a movie called Hell on High Heels, The Battle of Mary Kay. I don't know, that was the working title, I think. I don't know if that was the actual title. Anyways, a movie about Mary Kay starring Shirley MacLaine. I was a location manager on that movie. We rented this really nice sort of old historic mansion for her. And they wanted to film on her main floor. Well, she got tired, wanted to go to bed. She was done her filming. So she went and turned all the sprinkler systems on, and the electrics and grips still had all their equipment out. And they're like, what? Like, yep, she was done. And so we were done for the day. Don't mess with that lady, that's for sure. Let's see, what else can I answer for you guys today?
Your picture now.
Oh yeah, they're looking up Three's Company. Oh great.
No, the IMDb.
Oh, it's an old picture. Yeah, it's an old picture. Shirley MacLaine in this life or prior life. Oddly, Melissa and I went to dinner with Shirley MacLaine once, and she came out dressed as Japanese geisha with the fan and the makeup and the whole thing. You know, the wig, like she looked, you're like, oh, okay. And she was like, this is one of my former lives. And we sat down and ate chicken that she had a chef make, and it had chocolate sauce on top of the chicken.
What is it?
That was it was chocolate chicken. I don't know. It was like a chocolate sauce with sort of cayenne in it, I think.
It's like adobo sauce or something.
It was good.
I can't remember. It's with cocoa. It's not with chocolate, but it's
Yeah.
it's good. I can't remember what that's called.
I don't know. You know, you have these moments when you work in that industry. Like, I worked with Patrick Swayze for a while prior to him passing on, and well, that'd be awkward if it was the other way around. I worked with him.
Mole sauce.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Or mole sauce.
You know, you work with people, and you have these experiences, and they're just people. They're just folks, and it's so funny that now that you know. Somebody said one of these production companies called me today, and they said, so when you go out, people like know who you are? I'm like, well, oddly not really in my own town, but I went to the Metropolitan Museum in New York, and the guy who was selling tickets, because I wanted a ticket, he's like, you're Alex, aren't you? And I'm like, that's me. He's like, I watch your YouTube, and so is my mom. He's like, you get to go in for free today. I'm like, well, I don't mind paying. He's like, just go. And so I made a little donation in the donation box there. But yeah, somebody in New York at the Metropolitan Museum recognized me and gave me like the backstage pass to the Met. So that's pretty cool. But I can go walk around Edmonton and people are like,
Unless we walked into your store.
Yeah, people walk into the store. And
they know.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Gail sent $5. Thank you, Gail. Am I going to have Zach back to look for more treasures? Yeah, probably. Every time he comes to our area, he seems to find stuff. That's a one young guy who's not afraid to get dirty. You know, we went to the River Valley, and I'm in jeans and I have my backpack and shovel, and so does he. And I don't know, maybe it's my age. Maybe it's that I know that I have to do my own laundry. But I don't like getting dirty if I don't have to. I'm like, whatever's down that gully ain't worth me going down there and getting my boots dirty. So he's like, you gonna come dig with me? I'm like, I'll dig a little bit. And so I'm on a path digging, and he just dives right in like a little mole. He's like, rah, 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 and you just see his little boot sticking out of the dirt pile disappearing inside. I'm like, where did he go? He's tunneled his way inside of this dirt hill. And he comes out with a broken piece of glass or whatever. I'm like, I don't think you should be in there. Yeah, so anyway, he's still out doing his thing, but I've never been more impressed by how readily somebody's willing to get muddy. He said many times when he's done, you know, digging around or looking for stuff, he'll be walking, you know, by the university or walking on his way home, and like security guards stop him. They think he's like some really disheveled homeless guy, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And little do they know he's exploring and looking for treasure. You know, I guess something. Indiana Jones had to go through spider webs. How many times?
Yeah, more than once.
You have seen me go through spider webs. I know. I've been inside of buildings where you guys have written me and said, I can't believe you went in there, where I actually have to clear the Indiana Jones, like, it's like Spielberg himself couldn't have planted that many spider webs. It's like, how many spiders were in here and how many families of spiders made that web? Chip and Kathy, thank you so much.
You know what the trick is? If you're going on an adventure, just ask somebody to go ahead. You know what, why don't you lead? And then they'll just take care of those spider webs for you.
Yeah.
I walk with my arm up like that.
We had, let's see, there is, somebody was just saying they saw the IMDb bio. I haven't read it in a while.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
That was a while ago. Like, somebody said, is there still TV? I know. That's crazy. When a production company calls me and they say, well, what's your favorite channel that you like watching? And I go, we don't have cable. We haven't had cable in over 10 years.
But we have Netflix.
We have Netflix and we have YouTube and we have internet. But if I go to my mom's house, I will watch like history. I'll admit it. I was into watching the Oak Island show. Even though they never find really anything, I still am hoping that they're going to find something. You know, if they would have called it guys digging in dirt and finding chunks of wood, people wouldn't tune in. But it's Oak Island, you know, looking for treasure. And you're like, look, there's a chunk of wood. And you're like, I bet a pirate left it. Or was it a Knights Templar? Who knows? And you're all into it for an hour of that stuff. And they get this chunk of wood and they're like, oh, let's look at it. I mean, I'm finding actual gold in people's houses. They'd probably, like, their heads would spin around in their necks if they found something like this or what I've been finding on my own. But you know, you watch that show and they're like, this piece of wood carbon dates to the year 1710. And they're like, oh, interesting. I think that's original depositor. And they'll chat about it for an hour and I'm hooked. And I can't wait for the next season to start because they gotta find something other than a button. Anyway.
Kev Smith said, Alex, did you get the message I left for you at the shop?
Oh, no, I haven't been by the shop yet. So you can also email me too if you need to send me a message.
You go in tomorrow. I
go into the shop tomorrow. Well, I was in there dropping stuff off today because I've had to offload my vehicle 3 times. We just took nearly 500 lots to auction, and I promise I've probably already filled my store right back up again. So that's what you do. You keep buying and selling and buying and selling. But yeah, it's this never-ending cycle.
Hi, Zenobia. I see people.
Yeah, somebody said, I love hearing you don't have cable. I cut the $160 a month card 5 years ago. Yeah, isn't that something that, 160 or 200 bucks a month and then you get rid of it and you're like, do we miss it? No, like Netflix is what, 10 bucks a month or something like that?
Well, they get you, like here at least, they make you buy the initial package and then you have to add each thing as either another package or separate channels. It was ridiculous.
Oh, Mary L says, could you please wish Lucy a happy birthday? Happy birthday, Lucy. Now you're gonna have to tell me how old Lucy is now. Or is Lucy a person or is it an animal? Or is it a person that acts like an animal? Or is it an animal like from the Muppets that plays drums? Does Lucy play drums? Maybe just answer if Lucy plays drums and I'll know my answer.
Bandana Grandma, look what she did. She put
Bandana Grandma?
She put Susie, Bandana Grandma, pointed and she said somebody, because you called her somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I want to try, I don't know. I feel like one of these days I'm going to have to do an episode about how to, how I went from being a homeless youth to actually doing okay now. Maybe I'll do that some other time. I mean, you guys are seeing it happen. I'm buying and selling stuff. That's how it's all happening. You buy stuff and you sell it, and you buy stuff and you sell it, and you keep doing it. But I think more than anything is just staying positive is the key. I'm going to try and answer a few more questions, guys, and then we'll probably try and log off of the live feed.
It was her mom, Alexander.
Oh, her mom.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks, Heather.
Happy birthday,
Hey,
Lucy. Hans is on. Hey, so Hans had some big news. Hans, I don't know if you shared it on your channel or not, but maybe Hans, you want to type and share your news, and maybe I can share for you. Let's see. April sent us $5 and says, "I've always wondered how many giant spiders you have brought home with your treasures."
We don't really have big spiders here.
No, there's orb weavers and stuff. We don't have a lot of deadly spiders in my area. We don't have deadly snakes or deadly spiders. There are brown recluse in some parts of southern Alberta.
But not here.
I mean, no, you don't want to get bitten by one of those. They give you the flesh-eating sort of disease. But we don't have a lot. So when people are like, when I'm looking through an old car, and people are like, man, I'd be worried about snakes.
We had bees one time or some weird.
Yeah, but we have garter snakes. So we have things that are they eat bugs. They're not venomous, that sort of thing.
I've only ever seen a garter snake one time in my entire life. Twice.
At Carrie's place?
Yeah, in BC.
Yeah.
One was no longer living on the road, so I don't know if that counts. And one we saw, it was a little tiny baby one in my entire life. Apparently they're here, but I never see them.
Yeah. Kev says, Sean has an item set aside for me. I need to pay you. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. I'm in the store tomorrow. If you guys want to call me, I'll be there between 11 and 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Mountain Time. I like that we're on Mountain Time, but we can't even see the mountains from here. Yeah. I feel like they should call it Prairie Time. Let's see. Have I heard of a murder hornet? Yes, they're giant hornets that are nasty little things. We don't have them quite here yet.
Quite here yet. I'm not planning on them ever coming.
Oh, I'm going out with Josh is going to be helping to do some work around our house here coming up at the end of the week, I think. We decided to do a few little renos around our own home.
Josh has many snakes. That's great.
I think Josh just has they're probably garter snakes or something.
But like at my mom's, we don't ever see snakes. I think she's seen a snake there.
Yeah. Let's see. So Josh and I are going to a place on Thursday, and we're going to empty out someone's garage where I am going to be buying things that I think have value, and everything else he gets for free. And in fact, he's getting paid to haul stuff out. So it's going to be a good deal. It should be an interesting episode. Josh and I will be filming and doing an episode on Thursday with our good friend Lisa, who's one of our viewers. So Lisa, if you're watching, we'll be looking forward to seeing you on Thursday. Killer GB420 says, my father used to dig up old outhouses for old bottles and other things. Ever heard of this? Yeah, privies or outhouses are a really good place to find stuff because people will just throw their trash. Sometimes they'd accidentally lose good stuff down there, like pocket watches, and they'd be like, yep, That's gone forever. You ever looked at an outhouse at like a national park and been like, oh man, what died in here? Those are the worst. I think, you have all the majesty of a national park and all the beauty of a national park. And then what do? They stick the worst washrooms on earth. You name one national park where you're like, yeah, the bathrooms there are really nice. Not gonna happen. Doesn't matter how nice the national park is, I don't care. And I'm not talking gift shop bathrooms. I'm talking like when you're out by the campgrounds or you're out by a river and there's a washroom on site. They are always the worst. The majesty of camping and enjoying the outdoors until you have to use the bathroom. And then everything goes haywire. How do we start talking about that? I have no idea. Oh, we're talking about privies. Anyway, so you use one of those things and drop something down and it's like, yep, nope, I'm not going in for that. And I don't blame them. So Hans, I don't know if he mentioned it or not. I don't want to spoil his surprise. Biddulph says, Bidulph, okay, I hope I said that right. He says, Alex, I know you like Johnny Cash. Did you check out Rob Coffin Shaker yet? I'd message you. Oh, I did get your message. Yes, I have not checked him out yet. No. I've been, honestly, the last little while, I've just been playing, no, I don't think Hans is getting married. Zenobia would kill me if I started spreading a rumor like that. No, that's not it. I've just been learning some more Leonard Cohen songs, and I've been writing some of my own, but I haven't had the time to just sit back and just play and sing, but I am working on a couple songs that I'm just having fun with anyway. So I'll answer maybe a couple more questions, guys, and then I'm going to log out. So if you have a question, you can super chat it up to the top. Otherwise, I will try and see if I can watch them as they go by here. Is it true that Edmonton is kind of Canada's hotspot for creative people? I wouldn't say Edmonton is a hotspot for creative people. However, Edmonton has a long history of folk fests and they have fringe festivals where there's acting. So there's a lot of very creative people in the city. It's funny. It is like polar opposites. It is a blue collar oil and gas kind of community. It's also the capital of our province. So there's a lot of government workers and a lot of really interesting artsy kind of people too. So there's Art Walk and the Fringe Festival and lots of stuff going on. So it's a pretty interesting place to live. We're a city of about 1 million people or so. If you count kind of little towns nearby, there's lots of little towns that are pretty well attached. We have a beautiful river valley going through town. And yeah, it's a great place to come and visit. Oh, Nick says sent me $10 and said thank you. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. And let's see. Okay, a lot of people are saying, how was the auction? How was the auction? Let's see. The auction went well. Sold $86,000 worth of stuff that I had lying around that store. Take home will be just north of $70,000, of which profit will be roughly $30,000. And yes, that will be enough for foundation and walls and roof at the very least. I have some ideas of what I'd like to do with that space. You know, you guys, I've been talking ice cream, maybe a little, tea shop, coffee shop or something. I'd love, my heart aches for the day when you can go back and have like the public come into a space and really just enjoy it. So I would love for it to be sort of like an open mic or have a stage where people can come and play music and have ice cream in summer or coffee or tea in winter. So I don't know, we'll see. Honestly, it's such a hurdle to get this building even moving in the right direction that what I'm going to do with it is almost secondary to getting it up in the first place. Engineered wall, I wrote my my draftsperson Sean at Scroll Hall Drafting here in town. And Sean, I believe, has sent out the designs to get the engineer stamp. And with any luck, we'll have that pushed through to the city and get our approval back so we can push forward. So guys, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you very much. Thank you so much to everyone who bid at the auction. Hopefully you got something really cool to take home. I'm sure they'll be sending stuff off all throughout this week. Stay tuned for more episodes and more adventures as you watch a guy who left his job, create a new life for himself in the antiques world, and who knows, maybe a budding coffee shop owner, or who knows what's going to happen next. So thank you so much. Oh, and Lucy does not play the drums apparently. She says this, Marielle's mom, her mom does not play the drums. Well, maybe she needs to get a drum kit. If it's her birthday today, you got to get Lucy a drum kit. So on that note, have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for watching all of our episodes and sticking with us. Hopefully this was an interesting chat for you. We try and do these every once in a while to engage with you guys and to answer your questions and be present for you. So thank you again, guys. Have a wonderful night. We'll see y'all soon, and bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.